Okay, good morning. We're just going to quickly go through the answers from yesterday. The question was about pens, and it was about whose pens were cheaper, either Sainsbury's or Tesco's. Just to be clear, these weren't real Sainsbury's or Tesco's prices. Haven't checked them. So what you had to work out, you had to use division. You had to use division to say, well, okay, if there are 4 pens costing £2.88, we need to divide £2.88 by 4. That comes up as 0.72, so 1 pen is 72 pence at Sainsbury's. Moving on down, we've got Tesco's. There are 7 pens for £4.83, so you divide £4.83 by 7. You would obviously just transfer that decimal point up. It never moves, it stays in the same place, and just bust up division as you normally would with a 7, and we come up at 0.69, which is 69 pence. Tesco's, in this fictional case, were indeed cheaper. There was also an extension, so let's just have a work through that together. The concept was Alex had 2 packets of sweets. In one of the packets of sweets, for every 2 strawberry sweets, there were 3 orange sweets. That was packet 1. Packet 2, for every 1 strawberry sweet, there were 3 oranges. We were then told that in this second packet, there were 15 orange sweets. Okay, so every one set is 4. So if we carry on using the same ratio, that would be 8 sweets in total, that would be 12 sweets in total. How many? Okay, we've got 9 oranges. That would be 16 sweets in total, and we've got 12 oranges so far. Then we have got 20 in total and 15 oranges. That's what we were told that we had. So we know in the second packet, we would have 5 strawberry sweets and 15 oranges. So 20 in total. Now we need, because we were told, each packet of sweets has exactly the same amount in. So now we need to think, well, okay, how many strawberry sweets are in this first packet? Every block of 2 strawberries and 3 oranges equals 5. So hopefully you would have worked out, well, actually, 5 times 4 equals 20. So if I just multiply this by 4 and this by 4, I will end up with 2 times 4 is 8 strawberry sweets, 3 times 4 is 12 orange sweets, equaling 20 sweets altogether, 8 strawberries, 12 oranges, and then in the second packet we've got 5 strawberries and 15 oranges. That was the extension. We're now going to go on to the actual maths for today, so I'll just pause the recording. Okay, you've seen me slightly mess up our learning intention. The learning today, we're actually going to stay with this problem just to demonstrate something. So we're going to stay with the extension. We're actually going to use a bar model. So learning intention, you don't need to write this down, but to use a bar model. Sometimes using a bar model is quite useful for working out problems like this. It just helps you see things quite clearly. So I'll show you what I mean with reference to this problem. We drew it out, or I drew it out, using like S for strawberry, orange, orange, and I could see there that I could build up with a ratio of 1 to 3, 20 sweets. Now, you can draw this in blocks using bars. So, let's say that I'm drawing out packet number 1. It would look like this. That's going to be 2. That's going to be 3. I can put the little O and the little S there. So 2 strawberries and 3 oranges. That would be what the bar would look like for number 1. The bar would look like for number 2. 1 S there. And what have we got? We've got 3 oranges there. So every time we've got a ratio of 1 to 3 happening. Now, what we know from this particular model is that actually there are 15 oranges and there are, we're not sure how many strawberries. Okay, so we can look at these numbers, 3 to 15. What is happening? We know the ratio is going to stay the same. What's actually happening from 3 to get to 15? Essentially, 3 times what equals 15? You probably know that straight away from times tables, but we could work it out by saying 15 divided by 3. What we actually come up with is 3 times 5. So we're multiplying by 5 to get that number. So what we do is we do exactly the same with the other side. 1 times 5 equals 5 strawberries, which is exactly what we got up here. It is the same maths, but just it's quite a useful way of just using essentially blocks and then being able to use our times tables to try and work out the answer. So we're going to have a go at something like that. The problem is this. In terms of mass, so we're talking about a smoothie now. All right, so smoothie. This is today's problem. Smoothie problem. In terms of mass, when people talk about mass, what they tend to mean is what we call weight, how heavy something is. So we're going to be measuring it in either grams or kilograms, or if it's really, really big, we might measure it in tons. Here we're talking about grams, because we're talking about a smoothie, a pretend smoothie. In this smoothie, there are 3 times as many strawberries as raspberries in this smoothie. Okay? The smoothie is just made up of strawberries and raspberries. So there's 3 times as many strawberries as raspberries. Okay, so what's my situation here? I've got, for every 1 raspberry, there's going to be 3 strawberries. Every 1 raspberry, there's going to be 3 strawberries. That's my ratio. We need to sort of show this on a bar form. That's your first thing. Can you show it on a bar? Yours might look slightly different to mine. If you've got squared paper, you might want to bar it out like this. But that's your first thing to have a go at. Now, your big question, I've got 2 of them for you. First question is, what is the mass of each fruit if I've got 400 grams of smoothie? So how much fruit do I have of each if I have 400 grams of smoothie? That's number 1. Question 1. 400 grams, how much fruit do I have? What about, slightly trickier, if I have 840 grams? 840 grams, how many raspberries do I have? How many strawberries do I have? Actually, not how many, but what weight, what mass of raspberries, what mass of strawberries. Have a little go at that. I'm going to post up a short extension. Right, so this is just your extension. If you get through the first bar problem quite quickly, have a little go at this. Flapjacks. It's a real recipe, so if you do want to make them, if you've got the ingredients, feel free to. We have got 120 grams of butter. We have got 100 grams of brown sugar. We have got 4 tablespoons of golden syrup. We have got 250 grams of oats, and we've got 40 grams of sultanas. That's your recipe. Okay, so Amir, our fictional child who likes baking, has 180 grams of butter. Right? Oh, I didn't tell you. This makes 10 flapjacks. So you could say that's flapjacks for 10 people, but if you're me, it's probably flapjacks for 1 person. So that makes 10 flapjacks. Amir's got 180 grams of butter. Right? So question 1, how many can he make? Question 2, what are the what's the value of each ingredient he needs? Cool. Have a little go at that, and as I say, if you're allowed to, and if you do have the ingredients, have a go at making flapjacks too, because they are full of energy and they are tasty. And I'll post up with the answers tomorrow.